Hold on, I just went online. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Oh, hold on. It actually might be because I'm in the Discord. 1 second. Testing, testing. Can anyone hear me? Is the audio working all right? Oh, fantastic. All right. Folks, we are in for a treat. QQ versus NightSlayer. Let me tell you, this is one of the really special matchups, I think, in the round of 16. Just because these are some fun players, man. Like, some players, their specialty is their execution, right? Their technical ability. These players have that, but they have creativity. So, it's going to be extra special, I think. Oh, yeah. So, let's go ahead. Get an unranked lobby going. Anyway, how's everyone doing this lovely Tuesday morning? Jason Blade, good to see ya. Man, are we all lucky Jason Blade didn't make it into the round of 16. That would have been a tough matchup. Fortunately, the TNT community was spared. But maybe next year, we will not be so lucky. Hard to say who's going to take Hopper here. They're both, they both prefer Hopper. This is going to be my, this is what I suspect the colors will be. But I might have to change it. I don't know. And let's get NightSlayer in here. All right. All right, that's NightSlayer in the flesh. These games are best of 9. QQ confirmed that he wants to do that. Okay, players are just choosing to do BO9s. That's listen, I don't have a problem with more tooth and tail. Let me go ahead and change that graphic. BO9. These greedy buggers. Oh, and they're wasting no time. And I got the colors right. All right, the combatants are set. Okay, so what's important to talk about here is that they're playing a best of 9, which means deck selection is going to play a really crucial role in this game, right? Depending on who wins, I suspect these players are the type to pivot to decks that better better deal with what their opponent is showing them, as opposed to players that like to just stick to their deck and believe in their mechanics. So, who wins is actually going to be really important. I think this will be an extremely exciting match. So, in the East, I'm New, aka NightSlayer. In the West, QQ, hailing from New York. Alright, QQ, sporting kind of like the child deck. He's got a squirrel, pigeon, mole, ferret, falcon, mine. Now I will say, I really do love this deck. I've played around with stuff like this before. I think it's super interesting. QQ's clearly going for an ultra aggressive game 1. But that being said, NightSlayer going for the most aggressive game 1, a 4-farm double lizard. The fastest you can get your opponent. Unfortunately, he's gonna have to retreat. Thank goodness for him, he did manage to save that one lizard. Oh, but he sold the lizard, which means he didn't get all of his value back. I would have rather he waited until it got back to get the full health on that food. But now QQ wants to mount an attack. This is important. Oh my god, this is gonna win the game right away, because lizards, besides the fact that he sold into squirrels, they just are not good defenders. That's probably why he sold into squirrels. But QQ's hesitating. He didn't go. And now NightSlayer, he has enough time to reinforce. And he's gonna lose one pig with the extra mole. Oh, it's hard to say. Let's see how much goes down here. One pig for sure. If 2 pigs go down, it's the game. Only 1 pig's gonna go down though. This still might already be like a game-ending initiative for QQ. He's already up on 2 farms. He's gonna get an extra 60 food out of those at least. That's an extra 120 food plus the 60 food he just won here. That's 180 food up. He's gonna be on NightSlayer. So I'm not quite sure how NightSlayer is gonna mount the comeback. The mine really clutch in denying NightSlayer that early farm. And now QQ's pretty much getting uncontested ferrets. Like, NightSlayer, and this is what a lot of players are gonna do. Once you go down in eco, you wanna be able to get back into the game and not just be consistently behind. To do that, you need to move into eco. You can't just tech along your opponent, you'll just be perpetually behind. But if you eco and your opponent techs, now they have an even bigger gap in army, and you might just lose on the spot. And the fact that these are forward warrens will die to a ferret. All 3 of these warrens cannot be defended. And QQ's setting up mines, which means NightSlayer can't really push into the ferrets. From this range, the ferrets can shoot. So this is it's like, gee, this will be really hard. NightSlayer is gonna have to get some really good lizard touches, or I don't know. Those mines are so dangerous. Like, yeah. That being said, that's a pretty reasonable surround by NightSlayer. A lot more than reasonable. It's actually really good. Oh, and they get the ferret. And NightSlayer only lost 1 tier 1 warren, and he's gonna be able to push into this. QQ might even no, QQ won't lose the ferret. It won't lose the ferret, but super interesting stuff. Okay, so now NightSlayer's gone up into a farm. So if we look at the army graph, NightSlayer's still behind an army, but tech-wise, he's going 3. Oh, and QQ's given up on the ferrets. Yeah, these players are try-harding, as they should. Round of 16. Okay, so Now it's one. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 versus. So NightSlayer's ahead. Oh. Did I say ahead? Ah. One thing about NightSlayer, he's a very good scouter. He almost always finds all the information he needs. He's a very, very diligent scouter. So NightSlayer is also going to go into 8. They're pretty deadlocked. I think they're almost even. Wow, after all that. NightSlayer finding a way to come back into this game, and now I would say NightSlayer has the major advantage because we were so busy commentating the early part of this game, we didn't even get a chance to analyze this map. This map is dookie for QQ. Like, NightSlayer has 5 farms to him. QQ has 2. None of these other farms are achievable. But if NightSlayer doesn't see these moles coming in right now, QQ might be able to mount an attack. And I think QQ can kind of sense that he doesn't want this game to go long because where is he going to expand? That being said, like if he had ferrets again, maybe. But you can't attack. Like you cannot attack into this. This shouldn't work. Really good mines though, and oh my lord. Did I say shouldn't work? I meant should absolutely destroy NightSlayer. That might be the most fatal squirrel mole push I've seen in my entire life. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. QQ 1-0. Yeah, the mines did a really good job there. I agree, Lego. Hopefully these players wait for me to get back into commander selection before starting their game. Good lord. And QQ already adapting to the NightSlayer's lizards. Even though he won, he's still gonna go toads. And these are big. These are big boy decks, man. These are best of 9 decks right here. Toad, squirrel, toad, pigeon, falcon, cam, badger. Like a badger doesn't need much. To have a badger deck, you only need 3 things. You just need the badger, the falcons, and the pigeons. Anything else you do is kind of up to you. Except lizards. Don't take lizards to a badger fight. You can't micro both. But yeah. So I guess you should say squirrel, falcon, pigeon, badger, which really leaves you 2 slots to play with. And QQ electing to go for the toads and the cams here. Cam's great choice. Toads will be interesting. If NightSlayer techs, too much into lizard, they could prove very useful. The mines got a lot of utility. The mines pretty much won QQ the game there. So it's effectively mobile mines, so we'll see. All right. And QQ going for the early attack. He is going to get 1 pig, and that was really important. He just went ahead and microed onto the first squirrel, which allowed him to kill the squirrel first and then kill the pig. And that's actually the correct way to go, is when you have 2 squirrels versus a squirrel and a pig, you focus fire the squirrel first because it has higher DPS. Kill that, then you take out the pig. And usually, the way the timing of a rush works, you get like a couple shots on the pig, you micro the squirrel, finish off the pig. But, NightSlayer, he's not really behind because he's gone for the early eco. And with this much distance between them, I think he can. I don't think this is punishable. Not with toads. Like, toads are not good at pushing into a mill. Not as good as they are into fighting in open space. NightSlayer also has, he learned from the last game, he's going with backwards warrants. He said, I'm not putting anything up there for a fair to touch. But we're gonna see, you know, if QQ proves me wrong, because he's going in on this this early push. If you look at the army graph, he is way up, so anything could happen. These pigs, super vulnerable, but getting defended. 1, 2, NightSlayer lost 3 squirrels in that exchange. 4 squirrels, and QQ lost. I'm not even gonna count that. That's too many. That's a horrible exchange. That's why people don't attack into mills with toads. Good lord. All right. Now NightSlayer, he wants to go for the counterattack. But the thing is, neither of these decks are suited for attacking into the opponent. Both of these decks currently, like what they have out on the field, perfect at defending, not really great at attacking. And you're gonna lose 1 squirrel for your troubles. 2 squirrels. 3? 2. Okay, 40 food. And this time the toads really got a good fight, and these pigs are gonna go down. That's, I think this might already be critical. Those were incredible toad hits the second time around. 4 pigs. I was gonna say if he only got 3 pigs, maybe NightSlayer could mount a comeback. 4 pigs is hurts. That being said, he's ahead in tech. Oh, now the Badger's coming out. And NightSlayer doesn't actually have anything to deal with the Badger. If he scouts the Badger right now, and I don't think he will. I don't think his commander has the health to be able to make it to the back of the base yet. But he's gonna try. NightSlayer, incredible dodging of the units, just skirting across the end of QQ's base. He's gonna see the Badger in time to go for his either mountain attack or go for his own wolf. It seems that he wants to go for an attack, but what are you gonna kill your opponent? So he's gonna tech into falcons. Oh, he's gonna try to kill it from this angle, but he can't. I don't think there's enough distance. I think there's too much distance. I don't think it can be killed, but he's gonna try. He's getting really close. Oh my god, he got it. Oh, that's huge. QQ felt like he had the win in sight, only to get the Badger sniped. Oh, QQ must be hurting after that. That's painful. And NightSlayer didn't even like lose much. Oh, good lord. Yeah, see, now QQ feels pressured into attacking, but you have higher army value and slightly better eco. Like, you're still just barely ahead. Oh, that's a lot of toad. 15 toad. Yeah, that's fun. That's cute how they surround. But I've never seen 15 like toad like genuinely used in this capacity. So I don't even know the math here. I feel like with NightSlayer having so many falcons, it probably won't work. Like, I feel like after losing the Badger, QQ feels pressured into attacking, but I'm not convinced he needs to. And like, that was really good, you know, toad attacks, but you blew up 15. Like, you killed 9 lizards with 15 toads. That's the only thing that, like, was really tough about that. But he's up on Eco. Like, if you look at the army graph, he lost by, you know, a little bit. Nothing crazy. And he's slightly up on Eco. So QQ, he's ahead, but this is still anyone's game. It's pretty much if anyone makes a critical mistake, they'll still lose. QQ's ahead on Eco by 2 farms, which once we get into this later stage of the game, first of all, incredible game 2. But once we, oh, he's gonna try to snipe the mill. And these lizards are in a really bad spot. Oh, but now they're gonna get the incredible surround. The toad's not in time. QQ's army completely caught out. And he's not gonna have anything to defend this. The problem with, like, trying to reinforce against Falcons is Falcons can just kill so much before you have time to reinforce the DPS. NightSlayer, he's gonna settle for just lunching on 2 pigs. And then elect to go home. It's a very classy choice. And at this stage in the game, 2 pigs matters. It's a big deal. Eco, NightSlayer ahead, army value near equal. But if any player gets caught out, this might be the exchange to decide the match. The Toad's got good attacks, but the skunk gas, it's still pouring on. But now NightSlayer's out of units. Lizard's notoriously bad at reinforcing when you don't have anything left behind. Some more units are gonna spawn though. And now the lizards are exactly what he needs. Takes out the Falcon. Tries to pick off any incoming units on the reinforcement, but there were none to be had. And now NightSlayer's just up a clean 3 farms. And this, I think that's a game deciding moment. I feel like QQ is now I don't think he can come back from this. Because how do you reinforce? You can't reinforce at the same rate as NightSlayer anymore. This was a game, let me tell you. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, and I don't think QQ has any resources left. Not at all. Yeah, QQ, he has to go here. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna eco at half the rate as your opponent? You'll never climb out of that hole. He knows he has to go. But NightSlayer, he has the superior tech. Oh! That... No. The mill tanked. And QQ turns it in. 1-1. Now this is a series, folks. Oh my gosh, they're already ready. Oh, no. Just QQ. Alright. And we're back. Fleur, QQ Chico needs to win this game. QQ's going back for like an ultra aggressive ferret deck. Like, it's hard to get more aggressive with ferret. I mean, I guess you could go for proxies, but it's a very, very aggressive deck. NightSlayer resorting to the meta deck, the Airlu deck. Ooh. Some standard mole harass, but it works. QQ, he had a sixth sense, man. Wow, I don't even know if he scouted that. I feel like he didn't. I think he just knew it was gonna happen. Spidey sense out of QQ, man. Looking at the map, we now have a very fair map. Very fair, right? Each opponent has 2 good expansions. NightSlayer has 3, right? But NightSlayer also doesn't have the lizards to harass these as quickly as before, so he can harass it with Cam. So we'll see. But also, all you really need is 2 expansions. Like, you don't need to go greedy and go for a 4th or for a 3rd. Like, this game will be resolved within the first 2 expansions, i.e., 3 mills. Especially given the QQ deck. What I will say is tough about this is NightSlayer has made no concessions in his deck, right? His deck is prepped for the early game, mid game, late game. Whereas some decks that are really specific, like that try to build heavier, maybe go double tier, double defense or double tier 3, or just geared towards hyper early game, hyper late game, can be exploited, right, by aggressive decks. But this one, no, this is not and it can be exploited by, like, I think, by proxy attempts, but neither of these players are proxy players, so you won't see that. I like NightSlayer's deck here. I think NightSlayer is gonna have, and both of them, I haven't been commentating too much because it's just pretty standard farming. I say standard. NightSlayer is going very greedy on the farms, but it's because he's scouting very diligently, so he knows he's not too far back. Oh, QQ gonna mount an attack for the moles. Now NightSlayer, he needs to defend with his own moles and sell down. He should be selling these farms. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's incredibly greedy to try to maintain them. But NightSlayer has the resources to defend this, is what I'm saying. Or so I thought. No, but it's only moles left. Not enough DPS to take down the pig. And this is what you do have to be careful about. If you build too many moles and your squirrels die, your moles, useless. Useless. They can't kill anything that's not a structure. So, like, moles versus pig, you're done. So that's what happened, is QQ ran out of squirrels. He had like 5 moles that would just, they couldn't do nothing. They have hammers. You can't hurt nobody. NightSlayer needs to be careful. I don't think this attack is good because, again, you don't have the DPS. Like, yes, you managed to kill a farm, but at what cost, you know? So this is what you have to be careful when you're attacking with Squirrel Mole. You cannot have too much mole. There is very much such a thing. And we literally saw both players fall victim to the too much mole problem, except NightSlayer fell harder. Like, NightSlayer saw it, QQ lose with too much mole, and said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna attack with too much mole. It's and now, you know, QQ has had the time to tech. First of all, when did he get 4 Falcons out? That's insane. Army graph wise, it's pretty equal. I don't actually know what's gonna happen here, I'll be honest. I feel like the Squirrel Mole player actually has the advantage here, because you can't kite that many squirrels. Except, is he? No, yeah, you lose a falcon every time you try to retreat. In this case, you lost 2. Ah, I see. So in exchange for QQ teching into all that tier 2, NightSlayer got 8 farms. And the 8 farms won. That's pretty much what happened here. Like, QQ, right, correctly realizing that he cannot push into this mass Squirrel Mole. And good on NightSlayer. You know, this is he chose a very clean way to greet up, and now he's gonna go for the push. Honestly, army graphs, they're not really that comparable. QQ's getting, you know, he's picking off a lot of units. Oh, but this mole is done, and that's the game once this mill drops. I think QQ will resign right on the spot. Out of units, out of options. That's the game. Now, if this was a best of 5, NightSlayer would have won. Except it's not. We've got a BO9. Everything is up for grabs. And these players do not want to give their precious commentator a rest at all. No, they are out for blood. We're even gonna miss the first like 2 seconds of this match. Gentlemen, slow. Look, now I have to quit out of the whole thing. That's not how you spell that. Goodness, we can't get back in. Who knows what's going on? No. Oh, good lord. Yeah. Should we make a new lobby? Yes. Yes, please. All right. We're okay. No other games have begun. As an organizer, you're commanding them to do a best of 99. They agreed to BO9 to talk and want to play a best of 99. Jesus. QQ, he is nervous. That is true. You definitely can see in his play. NightSlayer is getting to him, and it's warranted. You know, NightSlayer is putting the pressure and the onus on QQ to beat NightSlayer, because NightSlayer is just ecoing really heavy and then trying to defend the eco. Whenever your opponent does that, you either can eco to an equivalent degree or you have to attack. And so the pressure is being put on QQ. 100%. Okay. Oh. I don't know. Where am I getting that at? Oh, tea time. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. All right, here we go. Good lord. Okay. Here we go. This is very close to a deck that I've been trying to pilot myself. Except instead of the Fox, I was taking whatchamacallit, Falcon. I don't know if QQ has seen my games there, but this is fascinating. I don't even know. Okay, the only person that I've seen seriously attempt to pilot Badger Fox is Melvin. He had a stint where he was trying to do it, and he was doing it successfully, because Melvin can kind of just beat you with anything. But was it good? I don't know. This will be fascinating. I actually don't know how you would do this. Regardless, QQ can't. I want to say he can't be happy, but I don't know if that's the case. If you take a look at the map, both players have very difficult to approach mills, just in the sense that they're not siegeable, right? You can walk up to them, but you can't siege them. So I'm not sure if QQ's defensive choice is going to have any utility this match. Now, NightSlayer also has the choice to, like, he can attack from both sides of this mill. So I don't actually know. With an Artie, you could defend 2 mills, but you couldn't defend 3, which would require you to build 2 Arties, which, you know, if your opponent just puts in a mobile army, it'll be interesting. I'm almost certain that this map is good for NightSlayer. NightSlayer doesn't know that yet, but it should be good for Moon. It's a good retreat. You know, NightSlayer has a Lizard. And QQ doesn't have Toads. Now that I think about it, Mass Lizard actually really hurts QQ's deck. I'm fearful. I'm fearful for QQ. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to deal with the Squizzard and heavy equal of NightSlayer. No, it can't, because now that I think about it, what are you going to attack with? Just pure Squirrel? Pure Squirrel into, like, NightSlayer can just go pure Liz. And there's no way for QQ to attack. So I think QQ has to recognize attacking into NightSlayer is just done. Like, you can't do it. I think you need to tech into tier 3 next. Tech into tier 3, defend with your defenses, and hope to move the game along like that, because you can't push with just Squirrel into NightSlayer's composition. Also, important to note, NightSlayer has transitioned from the Airlu deck to the Sasha deck with the integral change of Mole to Lizard. In this case, the map gods were with him by just giving him an equal fair map. You know, it's not like this map is 1 minute, we'll get back to that in a second. NightSlayer using the Lizards to their full effect. He's gonna get, could have gotten 2, does get 2 with the final Lizard. Big moment. Okay, QQ wants to mount a counterattack. You have to be careful though. Army value, you can do it. And you should actually be able to get something here. Oh, but Lizards just reinforce so fast. He's gonna get 1 pig, but he's gonna get 2. Okay, a fair exchange, but now it's the jig's up. And you need to retreat before you lose too much on the retreat. 1, 2, 3, he's gonna lose 4 and 5. Oof. Really unfortunate commander death there. And now he techs into the Badger, but frankly I would have liked to see that a little sooner, but it's fine. We're good. The Badger's coming on like, ooh. Let's take a look at that army value graph, man. And NightSlayer, it looks like the tale of this match has been NightSlayer ecoing hard and defending with Master 1. So far it's been effective. And that is one of the strong ways to defend, or sorry, to play strong creative players, is to just cut out all the nonsense, eco really hard, and stay very low in tech. Because anytime that your opponent tries to do something cheesy, you just push, or you eco hard. And it's like, oh, this will be killer. QQ trying to anticipate some lizards, but NightSlayer coming down the front door. And he's gonna get this mill, and with that, he's gonna get the game. I think at this point, QQ's gonna recognize that NightSlayer is targeting, like, QQ trying to tech into creative choices. It's now 3-1. Should call a timeout and collect his thought. Yeah, I would take a 5-minute intervention as well. I think QQ needs to slow down. I think he needs to go for more conservative decks, because NightSlayer clearly wants to eco hard and then just push as soon as he senses an opportunity, while also consistently poking. That being said, the map was not at all in favor of QQ. Like, QQ could have got a favorable map, and that's a completely different game, you know? Like, that's a very map dependent deck he chose. So it's tough to criticize his deck choice when it had a lot of potential. And yeah, you see, moving to something more conservative, tried and true board deck. All right. Yeah, I agree, Lego. Taking defenses can almost always be a risk on its own. And QQ, he spun the wheel of probability, and the TNT gods were not with him. He's actually getting hit with a lot of open maps. Now this time, this is a really good map for both players, both decks. I would rather be QQ, because if I get the board push, it's game. That's pretty much what it is. NightSlayer doesn't have snakes, so if QQ successfully gets the board, he wins, because there is no time to, like, eco heavy in the time it takes a slow board to walk across the map. That board was over there in 10 seconds. Can you get a board out? I have no idea. This is like a Mexican stand-up. Both players just right in front. They just spawn pretty much in each other's face. Like, oh, hey. You know, top of the morning. This will be really interesting, because it's like, will this game go late game? Both players could take the backwards mill, you know, and eco. It could happen. Will one player tech into tier 2? Other player, like, for example, QQ could go into, I don't know, cams right now. NightSlayer could push with Scroll Mole and just win. Like, this will be very interesting. Both players, they're gonna prioritize scouting over everything, because you cannot waste too much time. Both of them just content to stay into tier 1, and QQ's feeling the pressure, you know? If you're NightSlayer, you're up 2 games. You're not worried. You are calm as a cucumber, but if I'm QQ, my nerves are in shreds, so this will be tough, but nerves not showing right now. Both players playing smart. QQ, don't get ahead of yourself. There's no opening. You're not picking off anything off of this mill. As I say that, proceeds to pick off a whole ward. Good on QQ, but it's a fair exchange. You know, you lost 3 lizards in exchange for a ward, so it's an equivalent exchange. NightSlayer staying in tier 1. You know, Usually this is punished by skunks that are out by now, but players not really interested in skunks this series. The skunks are in the decks, but they're not on the board. I will say QQ can rest, you know, a little easy knowing that this cabin will notify him of any interesting flank attempts, so flank attempts won't occur. Now they play going for cam, no shenanigans. No shenanigans. Is NightSlayer gonna go for the board? He's not. He's gonna continue to eco. And this is, I would never have the patience for this. I would have already dropped a board. Like, oh yeah, NightSlayer doesn't have the board, I apologize. Either player, if I was either player in this scenario, I would have dropped the tier 3 by now. I don't have the patience to just slowly build farms. So NightSlayer, right? He's ahead in eco. Damn near equivalent in army value. QQ. Sneaky ideas. NightSlayer's... Oh, he's gonna scout this though, so it's not gonna work. Oh, but QQ mounting the double flank. He has to be careful though. Like, he's gonna sacrifice his whole army, but he's not gonna get the mill. Like, what are you gonna... You're gonna take out... Well, how many pigs are you gonna get though? One. No, don't go for the mill. Okay, in exchange for... Right, 1, 2... I even forgot how many farms he lost on us. 3, 4, 5. 5 in exchange for 5 or 6 pigs. He lost his entire army, but he also killed a lot of NightSlayer's armies, so I'm gonna say that that was incredible for QQ. I didn't think the flank... Whoa, 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 whoa. The base race coming up. NightSlayer wins the base race if he goes for it. This mill is dead, which is a big deal. Manages to sell 2 farms, but army obliterated. The lizards were too fast. Came in too quickly. It looks like he'll just barely be able to defend. No, he won't even be able to defend. Even if he does, he has no eco anymore. Man, NightSlayer's kind of playing a masterclass on QQ. Yeah, I mean, what can you do? You have 2, yeah. QQ just throws in the towel. That has gotta hurt. NightSlayer up 4-1 in this series. No one would have guessed that. Match ball, yeah. Extremely well played by NightSlayer. Tensions are very high. I would have dropped the board. I would have. The double flank worked. It worked. But he got greedy and he tried to go in again. NightSlayer capitalized with a sneaky base race. And if I'm QQ, like I'm really hurting because you had that game. At least you had the advantage. You executed a very nice double flank attack that worked, even when it looked like it wouldn't. And to still not come out on top. What do you even take? Boar again. But you know your opponent's taking lizard. So are you really gonna go like skunk snake? No, yeah. I'm taking toad, to be honest. to round out, or maybe Moto. NightSlayer is keeping it very professional, taking straight meta deck. Ooh, wire. Huh. It's an interesting pick. I think it's a good pick. It deals with the lizards well. It tells me that QQ has had enough of attacking. He's like, now I want to defend and get tier 3. He just wants one tier 3. I don't think a single tier 3 has spawned in this matchup, which is insane. In a best of 9, no tier 3s have appeared. That's crazy. All right. Map wise, you gotta give the advantage to NightSlayer again. The lizards, just, you know, and there's a lot of maps that exist that lizards aren't great for, but they have not appeared in this series. It's been straight good lizard maps. I say good lizard map because there's 2 avenues of attack, and it's not like 2 directions that are right next to each other. Like, you gotta go all the way up the north or all the way down the south side of this map to attack. So you're gonna have to defend 2 sides. Bottom line, unless you one base all in. One thing QQ does have going for him is it's just high ground on this side. Easier to defend if you don't expand this way. If you expand this way, is the direction I would expand personally. But he's gonna go into the low ground. It's closer, you know, so I get it. But it's harder to defend. That's just the facts. Alright, you could wire a little bit of this off. Well, NightSlayer, she's going into squirrels. Alright, so QQ doesn't really have to worry about... Oh, there's this, but he doesn't have to worry about any super early game aggression. It's higher in eco, so everything's fine. Everything is calm. Yeah, dropping a little bit of wire. Just a touch. Just a little here and there. Oh, here comes the Liz. But this is just like a to bug you harass. Like, it won't actually amount to anything. This is just to piss him off, quite honestly. And here NightSlayer comes again, just ecoing super hard. And now it becomes apparent NightSlayer is going to try to... I was gonna say just try to distract QQ, but he's gonna get the full-on attack. But now he needs to retreat. Oh! His whole army is gonna go down for next to nothing. 1 pig in exchange for the entire army. QQ being gifted a... You know... Gifted the game, quite frankly. NightSlayer's the only reason NightSlayer is allowed to murder his whole army for 1 pig is because he ecoed so hard, and also his army wasn't that big to begin with. So it's like you lost a lot, but it's also it wasn't even that expensive, and you're still up on eco. So in exchange for sacrificing his entire, like, if I look at, like, QQ doesn't know yet that NightSlayer has been on full farms this whole time. So in exchange for sacrificing everybody, he denied QQ a scout. So QQ doesn't know. He's gonna find out now. He's not even gonna find out that NightSlayer is on this much eco. This is really, really impressive scout denial. And I don't know if that was NightSlayer's intention. And if I'm NightSlayer, I take out the mill right here. And QQ has a boar. I don't even know when that got dropped. But with the pigeons, does NightSlayer have enough to defend this? Will he even try to defend? He will. He won't go for the base race. If the entire series comes down to this, will this board prevail? I don't think it will. I'll be so honest. Wait, no. Pigeons doing massive work. Like, the board's down to 16 health. Oh! Oh! It goes down. And that's it. NightSlayer's up 5 farms on him. Not to mention pushing with the better army value right now. That was QQ's last hope. That boar needed to survive. If that boar survived, I don't even know, because like NightSlayer still has 4 falcons, so you weren't about to go back in, which means that push was dead. Which means the game was dead. So NightSlayer, I think NightSlayer, like, he's sitting pretty kind of, he can taste victory. QQ, I mean, do you base race? There's no time. And this was a one-sided series that you would not have expected. But true props to NightSlayer. He played a beautiful series, extremely accurate. Like, honestly, very few mistakes. In fact, the only one that I can really think of, another boar's out, but it won't matter, was, you know, falling prey to a beautifully executed double flank attack by QQ. That's it. Everything else was just all NightSlayer. Just one boar and a dream. That's what's going on right here. And NightSlayer really showing, you know, us the power of the meta, because it was straight meta decks the entire game. At tier 1, tier 2 masterclass. No, this is the first tier 3 in the best of 9 to come out. Like, really strong. And QQ, he's had enough. NightSlayer takes a ridiculously commanding win in this series, 5-1. Good lord. You know, NightSlayer's he's gonna be in some QQ nightmares, I fear. Well played by both players, but NightSlayer, he's your round of 16 winner. He's moving on to fight, and if we take a look, it'll be either, where's this bracket? He will fight either Sasha or Epicosity in the quarterfinals. Oh my goodness. Well, that's the series, folks. That is quite a way to kick off the round of 16s. QQ eliminated. Well, folks, that'll be all. GG's to all players. We'll see you in the next one.